worship the God who is. We worship the God who evermore will be. He opened the prison doors. He parted the raging sea. My God, He holds the victory. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. Oh, oh, we shout out your praise. We sing to the God who heals. We sing to the God who saves. We sing to the God who always makes a way. 'Cause He hung up on that cross, then He rose up from that grave. My God, still rolling stones away. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. We were the beggars, now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. Come on. We were the beggars, now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. Come on, put your hands together like this. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. We won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. The house of the Lord today. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. We shout out your praise.
Lord, we're so glad to be in your house this morning, Lord. Such a privilege to be in your presence. There is a place called blessing, where the poor in spirit are welcome. There is a place called freedom, You say the gates are open wide. Hallelujah. We are welcome inside. That's it. The kingdom of the heavens. The kingdom of. Sing hallelujah. Sing it is here. God, we're so grateful today that your presence is here. And because you are here, we believe and declare we have everything we need. We thank you for revival today. Revival in our hearts, revival in our minds, a transformation like never before. And we know that because we're in your presence, we'll never be the same again. Let's sing. We've seen what you can do, oh God of wonders. Your power has no end. The things you've done before in greater measure, God, you will do again. 'Cause there's no prison wall you can't break through, no mountain you can't move. All things are possible. And there's no broken body you can't raise, no soul that you can't save. All things are possible. The darkest night, you can light it up. You can light it up. God of revival, let hope arise. 'Cause death is overcome, and you already won. God of revival. Let's declare this together, church. Say, you rose in victory, and now you're seated forever on the throne. So why should my heart fear what you defeated? I will trust in you alone. 'Cause there's no prison wall you can't break through, no mountain you can't move. All things are possible. We declare this by faith. Say, there's no broken body you can't raise, no soul that you can't save. All things are possible. The darkest night, you can light it up. You can light it up. God of revival, let hope arise. Death is overcome. You've already won. God of revival, our God of revival. If you got two hands, I need you to get them together like this morning. Come on. We declare revival is coming to this church, to this city, to this nation. We're going to declare this. Say, come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh God of revival, pour it out. Somebody release your faith and sing it out. Say, come awaken your people. Come awaken the city. Oh God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. Every stronghold will crumble. I hear the chains hit the ground. Oh, God of revival, pour it out, pour it out. thank you for worshiping with us, church. Before you take your seat, you gotta smile at somebody, hug somebody around you, and let them know you're glad to see them. And if you're at home, please know we can't wait to see your face in the place very soon. God bless.
All right, Flatirons, you sound good. You sound really good this morning. Well done. You've been taking vocal lessons, and I can tell. I see it. We do this every week. It's basically tradition here, but we got all these people tuning in at all of our different campuses. We've got our brothers down in Lyman Correctional. We've got our family online watching right now. So can this big room help me welcome everybody who's with us today? Very glad you're here. Welcome back to the fourth and final week of this series that we've called Post-Christian Jesus, which is basically we're trying to figure out, does Jesus' way of life still make sense in the modern world? And I'm very excited about what we're talking about today because I think what we're going to learn from Jesus is especially applicable to those of us living today in 2021, because we're going to talk about a promise that Jesus made us that most of us just don't see happening in our day-to-day lives. See, in Matthew 11, Jesus promised us this. He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." All right, weary and burdened aren't words that we typically use to describe ourselves, but weary just means tired, and burdened is this idea that you have so much to do and so little time to do it. So instead of saying burdened, we could say busy. And so just to be clear, Jesus' promise is this. He says, "Come to me, all you who are busy and tired, and I will give you rest." Now, of those three words, busy, tired, and rest, which ones best describe your life? Because if you're anything like me, it's probably the words busy and tired. Just this low-key exhaustion, right? Like, sure, it's intense exhaustion on some days because work or school or the day at home was especially crazy, but even on a chill day, we've got this low-key exhaustion, always a little sleepy, always a little drained, always a little preoccupied and obsessed about the amount of stuff that we need to get done. We're always feeling busy and tired. As a result, a lot of us we're barely making it through the day. All right, for example, a lot of us, we're just always holding out for the next vacation, right? We're telling ourselves, like, I just got to hold out for a month and a half, and then I get on a plane and I fly to Mexico, and we tell ourselves, like, this vacation's going to refuel me for another couple months of real life, of work and parenting and marriage, you name it. And so we clock out on the last day of work, and we stumble into our vacation. You know, like those Ironman competitors at the finish line, if you ever, it's like our legs are giving out, we've soiled ourselves, but we made it to vacation, right? And then what typically happens? Well, you get a full week off of work, and then you come back into the office, and by the end of the first week of work, you're exhausted again, just busy and tired. And you circle the dates of your next vacation on the calendar, and you tell yourself you can hold out till the next vacation. We're all just like stumbling across these little finish lines that we make for ourselves. Like, I just got to get to 5 o'clock or to the weekend or to vacation or graduation or to retirement. We're just like white knuckling every hour of our lives. Jesus promised us rest, but typically we don't feel very rested. Why? Why do we feel so constantly busy and tired? Let's talk about that. There's 1,000 reasons that we feel busy and tired. Probably the biggest culprit is you've got to eat to live. You need money to eat, and so you've got to work to make money. And so for a lot of us, our jobs are making us feel busy and tired because you've got the inner office politics, you've got the overtime hours, and you've got that constant feeling like you should probably climb the ladder to lock in that next pay raise. Work can be exhausting. For those of us who have families, we know that not only are you working at work, but you're working at home, right? Because the house needs clean and the yard needs mowed and your daughter needs to go to the soccer game and your son has his head stuck in the doggy door, just normal weekly tasks. So home and work are exhausting. And so just life in general, at the very baseline, always trends toward being busy and tiring. But then for the last 15 to 20 years, there's been this brand new cherry on top of our day-to-day exhaustion. In my opinion, I actually think it's the straw that's breaking the camel's back. when it comes to us feeling busy and tired all the time. And I think the thing that's pushing our exhaustion over the edge is our smartphones. Now, some of you hate me because you're like, bro, you've been giving our phones a beating for the last month. I know, just hear me out. I think our phones are making us feel more busy and more tired than we need to feel, and that's mainly because our phones are constantly distracting us. We've got the infinite world of the internet, complete with its promises of endless information and entertainment and connection. We've got this infinite world of possibilities in our pockets 24/7. We're constantly distracted by the siren's call of our smartphones. It's constantly going, hey, psst, hey, down here, come escape. Right? Just escape. Escape work for a few minutes by checking your social media. And then when you get home, escape home for a few minutes by getting a little bit of work done. Come escape into the endless world of the internet. In fact, some historians are calling this period that we live in, sarcastically, they're calling it the age of distraction. And I think that's probably accurate. And what I've seen in my own life is that this constant distraction actually erodes my ability to find the kind of rest that Jesus promised me. One of the reasons for that is because with the birth of the cell phone, there came a birth of a new social expectation for everybody, for you and for me. And the social expectation is that you are always available. You should be available at work. You should be available during dinner with your family, available while you're driving in your car or in your bed getting ready to go to sleep. You're always literally on call. And this idea that you should always be available, it exploded with text messaging. I'll never forget, it's about 20 years ago, I'm sitting in a Taco Bueno in Texas where I grew up. My friend Jackie has her brick Nokia phone, and she's explaining SMS messaging to me for the very first time. And the whole thing sounded like a math word problem that I hated in school. She's like, it's so amazing. If you press the 4 twice and then pause, right? And then you press the 3 twice, and then the 5 3 times, twice in a row, and then the 6 3 times, then I can write the word hello and send it to you. And I remember belly laughing in a Taco Bueno going, that's so stupid. Right? Like, why would I spend 30 minutes sending you a message when I could just give you a call? Now you fast forward 20 minutes later, and I've completely flip-flopped on that issue, right? I'll text people all day long. I get a call from someone. I'm like, what is this? Am I the police? Is there an emergency? Is there a fire? Our phones have created this idea that you and everyone you know should be constantly available. I don't think twice about sending a text at any time of the day. I don't pause in the evening and go, you know what? I shouldn't bug this person right now. They're at home, they're resting, they're with their family. This can wait till tomorrow. I don't think that. It could be midnight, and I'm like, this is worth it, right? And I'm like, I need to know if my sister has seen this exact episode of Shark Tank, and I need to know now. And it's weird. I would never drive to her house in a million years and knock on her door at midnight and risk waking her and her family up just to talk about Shark Tank. But again, it's socially acceptable to text that. And I kind of expect a quick reply. I do. I didn't think that'd get a laugh. I'm just being honest. It's making us feel busy. Every 10 minutes, bzz, 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 there's a little message that you have to reply to. On top of that, the age of distraction is making us feel more tired than we need to feel. Because after a distracting day at work, we're ready to unwind. And typically, we unwind by, again, using the screen that has distracted us all day long. And screens make for terrible unwinders. Like, even just in terms of your brain chemistry, scientists and doctors are practically begging us to spend less time on a screen. And it's because the constant input and stimulation from our phones and video games and Netflix, our brain can't keep up with it. It creates a dopamine rush that it can't handle. And what happens is you get addicted to it. They're begging us to stop using screens. It's because we're looking to unwind by spending a few hours on our phone or on Netflix or whatever, but in reality, the amount of visual stimulation is literally exhausting your brain. In fact, the American Public Health Association is calling our use of screens, quote, a growing public health concern. It's becoming like the new cigarettes, which forever ago used to just be kind of like a social thing that you did, and then doctors were like, wait, no, this is actually very bad for you. And they have the results to back it up. They found that the average American spends 5.4 hours on their phone every day. That doesn't include other screens, like your TV or your tablets or your computers or whatever. 5.4 hours on your phone. They found that the average American checks their phone 86 times every day. That boils down to checking your phone every 11 minutes of your waking life. And that's just the average. The study also focused in on what they call heavy phone users, and they found that 13% of millennials, that's 1 out of 10 of the people in my generation, will spend over 12 hours on their phone every day. In short, we're addicted. Even if you just go with the average, that's roughly 1/3 of your waking life is spent staring at your phone. You could pick anything else, and we would call that an addiction. You could pick milkshakes, right? If you had a lady at work who every 11 minutes was like, I could go for a milkshake, you'd be like, Peggy, cool it. You're an addict. We're addicted. Our phones have become like adult pacifiers. That's what I've seen in my life. Right? You got a little infant and they start screaming or crying or they're overtired, you pop a pacifier in their mouth and they chill out. Same thing with my phone. When I'm quiet or I'm alone or I'm in bed trying to unwind, or if I feel bored, especially if I feel bored or sad or anxious or overwhelmed, I'm pulling out my phone without even thinking about it, trying to distract myself. I don't want to feel my feelings. And I don't want to think my own thoughts. It gets super dark up in here. I want to distract myself. It's an adult pacifier, and I'm addicted to it. My phone is always promising that I can escape. I can escape my real life by diving into the infinite internet, just escape into a good TV show or into social media or the news cycle or Candy Crush, whatever, just escape. That's the promise that our culture is giving us. Culture is promising us that real rest is found in escape, but it's not working. In reality, it's turning us into literal addicts, and it's making us feel more busy and more tired than we need to feel. And so what do we do about this? How do we find real rest, like physically, spiritually, and emotionally, while living in the age of distraction? Well, one of the most ancient practices of God's people is something called Sabbath. All right, it's from the Hebrew word Shabbat, which means to rest. And Sabbath is a weekly day of rest. No work, no distractions, just take a load off and enjoy God, enjoy his creation, and enjoy the people that you love the most. We first see the idea of Sabbath in Genesis 2, in the 2nd chapter of the entire Bible. And this is when humanity's living in a state of perfection. There's no sin, there's no brokenness, there's no imperfect relationship. And still, even in the state of perfection, God says, take one day every single week where you just rest and you enjoy me and you enjoy each other. After Genesis, humanity moves from perfection into the sinful, broken world that you and I are currently living in. And when that happens, Sabbath becomes an actual commandment from God. God commands that you and I take a Sabbath. See this in Exodus 20. Right? God is preparing his people to enter into the land that he promised them, and he's preparing them by giving them 10 commandments to live life by. We've all heard of the 10 commandments. These are 10 overarching rules and kind of boundaries for how God's people can live the good life with God and with each other. And a lot of us are familiar with some of these commandments, but my question is this: which of these commandments gets the most explanation? Is it don't murder? Don't commit adultery, don't steal? Nope. Interestingly, the commandment for Sabbath gets the most real estate, the most words of all the 10 commandments. Let's just read it together. It's the 4th commandment, and it goes like this. So remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. So 6 days you shall labor. 6 days you've got to do all your work, but then the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. And on it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son, or your daughter, nor your manservant, or your maidservant, not even your animals, nor the alien within your gates, like the visitor who's at your house. He goes, here's why we should do that. Because in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that's in them, but he rested on the 7th day. Therefore, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. We are told to work hard for 6 days a week and then rest hard on the 7th day. We're told that no one under your responsibility, so not you or your family or your kids or your employees or even your animals, not even Sparky, is allowed to work on the seventh day. We're just supposed to rest. And we're told to do that because even in a state of perfection, God decided and thought that it was a good and perfect and holy thing to rest one day out of the week. We get so much explanation around Sabbath. Just for comparison, the commandment for murder is 4 words. You shall not murder. That's it. God's like, hey, don't kill each other. Good talk. That's it. But we get all this explanation around Sabbath, and I can't help but wonder if we get so much explanation around it because God knew it would be the one commandment that you and I would be constantly tempted to just break. It's like murder, stealing, adultery, lying. We should probably pay attention to those. But a day of intentional rest where you do nothing but enjoy God and each other, who has time to live this way? There's stuff to do. There's money to make and places to go and stuff to buy and shows to watch and emails to send. Who has time for Sabbath? And the result is that Sabbath is the one of the 10 commandments that you and I break all of the time. And we don't even blink an eye. Let's fast forward from Exodus to Jesus. Between the time when God gives Moses the 10 commandments and the time when Jesus is walking around planet Earth, somewhere in the middle, the Jewish people had taken Sabbath and they gotten pretty legalistic about it. Right? They had created this extensive list of rules and regulations, like man-made rules for what you can and cannot do on the Sabbath. And so by the time Jesus shows up, Sabbath was less about a holy, perfect day of rest, and it was more about a legalistic rule to follow. And so Jesus was constantly making the Pharisees, the teachers of these man-made laws, he's constantly making the Pharisees angry because he's constantly breaking their rules of Sabbath. To be clear, he's not breaking God's rules of Sabbath. He's not out working and making a paycheck or running errands or doing projects around the house. Instead, he is healing people. He's performing miracles. And the Pharisees saw that and they're like, that's work, man. Completely blow past the fact that he's doing miracles, which is, of course, incredible. And they're like, that's work. How can you be the Son of God like you claim to be if you're constantly breaking your rules for Sabbath? But what's cool is that I believe Jesus is trying to teach us something by the miracles that he performed on Sabbath. Here's what I mean by that. Of the 4 biographies that we have of Jesus' life, we see 7 miracles that he performed on Sabbath. And all 7 of them are healings. He's not walking on water. He's not multiplying bread and fish. He's healing people. He heals a crippled man, a possessed man, Peter's mother-in-law, a man with a deformed hand, a blind man, a crippled woman, and a man with a chronic disease. 100% of Jesus' Sabbath miracles are healings. And here's what I think that Jesus is trying to teach us. I think he's showing us through his actions that Sabbath, a weekly day of rest, is not about rule following or earning God's favor by jumping through hoops. Instead, Sabbath is about healing. It's the point of it. The thing about Sabbath that makes it good and perfect and holy is that God somehow uses that one day a week to heal us. To heal us from the constant distractions and the constant demand of your time and ability and the constant sense of hurry and busyness and all the exhaustion that comes with it. Sabbath is about healing from those things. In fact, one time the Pharisees are all mad at Jesus because he healed someone on Sabbath, and Jesus finally turns to him and he chews him out and he says this, he goes, the Sabbath was made for man, not the other way around, not man for the Sabbath. In other words, what Jesus is saying is God didn't create man just to see if he could handle Sabbath, right? To see if he could follow all the rules and pass a spiritual test. He goes, instead, God created Sabbath for the sake of man. It is a gift that God gave us so that we could have one day a week that's all about just healing. Sabbath is about healing. And so the question now is really just how? How might one weekly day of total rest, how might that heal us? And that's honestly difficult to answer. All I can do is kind of share my personal experience with it. So a few months ago, I had a wake-up call. All right, I did a burial ceremony for some of my good friends who had lost their daughter at a really young age. And there's something about that experience that like put me in this place of feeling overwhelmed by the idea that nothing is guaranteed to me. Nothing. Meaning like every day that I wake up in good health with my beautiful wife and my 3 kids and a job that I love, like every day is this little miracle, is this little gift that I've been given that is not guaranteed to me because who knows what tomorrow holds. That was my state of mind. And so I'm basically in this place of like, I just need to be more present. I need to be more present with my family and with my friends. I don't want to take those relationships and I don't want to take my days for granted anymore. And it was like Jesus was drilling this idea into my head like day after day. He was just constantly telling me, Ben, Sabbath, just do it. Like take it seriously, lead your family spiritually by jumping into this Sabbath thing. So a few months ago, I sit Allie down and I tell her I want to be intentional about creating like a legit Sabbath for us every single week. And we haven't done this perfectly. We're still getting used to it. We're still figuring out what works and what doesn't work. But we have taken a Sabbath every single week for the last few months. And overall, it has been healing me. And it's been healing my family. And I honestly can't even quite articulate how it's been healing. It's like a magic trick or something. Or more accurately, it's like a healing miracle, like the kind that Jesus did on Sabbath. It's unexplainable, but it works. I'll tell you our structure for Sabbath, but it won't work for everyone because everyone has different lives and different schedules, but I'll tell you how we're doing Sabbath, and then if you're interested, you can kind of take this structure and adjust it for your own lives. All right, so on a typical week, if everything goes according to plan, I have 2 days off back to back, Friday and Saturday. And so Saturday is my family's Sabbath. And then Friday, the day before, we do something that God's people have been doing for thousands of years. Our Friday is a day of preparation. In Jewish culture, the day before Sabbath is called the day of preparation. And the entire point of that day is to prepare for tomorrow's day of rest. It's exactly how Allie and I treat our Fridays now. It's another day to keep working, and we work hard. We clean the house, we do all the laundry, we do the dishes, I mow the grass. I get a little more done on those projects I have in the garage and in the backyard. We run errands, like this is the day to go to the grocery store, and we go to DMV and the dentist and like all the stuff that we hate doing. We work our butts off. Why? Because we're preparing for tomorrow. And then Saturday hits, and Saturday is our Sabbath. And we do nothing that could be considered work. And already, in just a few months, it's become like a weekly holiday in my house. Like, we can't wait. Even this last Tuesday, Micah asked me, he goes, is tomorrow Sabbath? And I'm like, oh, buddy, you got like 4 more days for Sabbath. And he just groaned. It was awesome. My family's created a few rules around Sabbath. We have 3 rules. The rules are this: whatever we do, we must do it together. Whatever we do, it must be restful and bring us joy. And then we put our phones down. Allie and I don't touch them. It's 3 simple rules to make sure we're resting, to make sure we're being present with God and with each other. And so on Sabbath, in my house, we do things we love. We go hiking, and we go to the park, and we ride our bikes. And I find myself saying yes to the kids more often because I'm not glued to my phone with the constant promise of escape. So my kids are like, can we play Battleship? And I'm like, sure. What else are we gonna do today? Let's play Battleship, even though you literally don't know how to play this game. I keep telling you where my ships are, and you still lose. We do things we love. We sleep in, we take naps, we read, we chill in the hammock in our backyard and just talk to each other. And the kids play in the sprinklers. We do things we love. Not only are we doing the things we love, but we also do not do the things we hate or anything that could be considered work. And so on Saturday, the dishes pile up in the sink and we don't feel guilt about it. On Saturday, we don't touch the laundry. There's no yard work. We don't run errands. In my house, we don't enjoy cooking. Allie and I wish we did, but we don't. And so we eat sandwiches for lunch. And then every day of prep, every Friday, I go buy some frozen dinner that we can just throw in the oven on Saturday and not think about it, some lasagna or something. Anytime throughout Sabbath on Saturday, if I think of something I need to do, like a project I need to tackle or an email I need to send, I quickly jot down a reminder to do it tomorrow or do it next Friday, but not today. And the result is that my little family, one day a week, gets to enjoy a totally guilt-free, distraction-free day of rest. And it's been healing. It has also, to be honest and to give you a heads up, it has come with some bitter pills to swallow. For example, the very first Sabbath that we did months ago, at one point in the day, Micah looked at me and he goes, "Dad, why are you spending so much time with us?" Yeah, you laugh. It was brutal. It was proof too. It's proof of like how constantly and often I was escaping the madness of having 3 little kids by escaping into my phone or escaping into my career or whatever. At the same time, healing hurts at first, and that's okay. And I would rather have Micah asking me those questions when he's 6 than asking those questions when he's 18 and about to leave my house forever. It's so difficult to explain like why Sabbath has been healing for my family, but maybe the best way to explain it is to tell you the story. All right, so this is maybe our 3rd or 4th Sabbath. And on this one, what I wanted to do was I actually didn't want to sleep in. I wanted to get up early before my family was awake and go on a walk by myself. That's what I wanted to do. Sabbath is a day to do what I want to do. So I got up, I'm going on this walk, and I've got headphones in, and I'm listening to music, and I'm honestly stressed about some stuff that was happening at work, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was just agitated. And so I'm walking. At one point, the sun is rising and the birds start chirping and singing, and I actually got frustrated that I couldn't hear them. I had the actual thought of like, I would like to hear those birds, but this music is too loud. Then I had this like moment of like, you're an idiot, you can take your headphones out. So I did, I took my headphones out, and now I'm walking in near silence. It's just me and a light breeze and the birds chirping, no music, no headphones, no distractions. And I'm walking back to my neighborhood, and I'm looking at all the houses in my neighborhood, most of them filled with people who are still sleeping. And out of nowhere, I get hit with this overwhelming sense of compassion, like something outside of me. And I'm just looking at all the houses in my neighborhood, and I'm thinking to myself, like, in one of these houses, someone probably just got married. And then in another house, someone is probably like signing their papers today. And I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I'm like, in this house, like someone's mourning a death. And then in this house, someone's celebrating life because they just found out they're pregnant. And in my neighborhood, there are people who have been recovering addicts and they're kicking tail at it. And then in other houses, there are people who are currently addicted. And in this house over here is probably someone who cannot wait to wake up and start their day. And then in this house over here is probably someone who doesn't know how they're gonna roll out of bed this morning. And I just was filled with this sense of compassion for all the souls living in my neighborhood. And then I didn't hear a audible voice or anything mystical like that, but at the same time, it's like I had this crystal clear thought from God. And what God was teaching me was he's basically telling me, hey, Ben, this feeling of compassion is how I feel towards the world. I was just deeply in love with people. Deeply in love with each individual life. I'm letting you feel a little bit of what I feel. And then he told me, it's like, if you would just once a week take your headphones out and stop distracting yourself and be present with me and the people that you love, if you keep doing that, I will keep teaching you more about my heart. It's honestly one of the most intense experiences I've had in a long time. There's this lyric from a song in the book of Psalms. It goes like this: be still and know that I am God. That is the best way to sum up what Sabbath has been for my life. First of all, it's a chance for me once a week to just be still. No work, no errands. I put my phone down, so no distractions. It's a chance to slow down and be present with God and with my friends and with my family. And then on top of that, the more that I'm still, it's like the more I'm somehow able to realize at like a heart level that God is God. And the assumption behind that lyric, be still and know that I am God, the assumption is be still and know that God is God and you are not. I am not. And it's better that way. It's the best way for me to sum up Sabbath. It's a chance to be still and know that God is God and I am not. There are 6 other days of the week where I can sit around and worry about my life and try to convince myself that I'm in some sort of control over it. And there are 6 other days of the week where I can wonder how my kids are gonna turn out when they get older and wonder what my future holds and try to manipulate those parts of my life to get a desired result. And there are 6 other days of the week to get lost in the sea of distraction created by the internet. Sabbath is my one day a week to be still and know that God is God and I'm not. And all I know is that this day of rest, this like weekly intentional day of being still is healing me. It's healing my relationship with Allie and my kids. It's healing my relationship with God. No, I can't quite articulate how it's working. It's like a miracle. I can't explain it. I just know it's happening. I'm being healed. I'm basically here right now to beg and plead with you. Please don't knock it till you try it. I am smoking what I'm selling right now. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Please don't knock it till you try it. All right, culture offers us this promise that real rest is found in escape. Escape into your phone, escape into a TV show or your social media, escape into your career, just escape. But then on the other hand, the most ancient practice of God's people is Sabbath. And the promise of God is that real rest is found in being present. That's what Sabbath is all about. No distractions, no work, just be present with God and with the friends and family that you love. And so who are we gonna trust, culture or Jesus? If you are feeling weary and burdened, busy and tired, and if you're looking for rest, like real rest and real healing, then here's the challenge. Simply schedule your day of preparation and your Sabbath. Again, just don't knock it till you try it. Immediately, there are objections in this room. All right, so some of us are looking at that and we're going like, dude, you don't understand. I really don't have time for that. Right? My wife and I have competing schedules. We're never really home at the same exact time, or I only get one day off a week, or I work retail, so my schedule's completely different week by week, or I'm in school, so even when I'm home, I need to be like reading and studying. If that's you, I would encourage you at the very least to sit down with your schedule and see if it is in the realm of possibility to pull this off. If it is genuinely not, that alone is something good for you to think through this week. But my guess is that most of us can pull this Sabbath thing off. We just might have to get creative. Again, it's not meant to be legalistic. It was a gift that was given us, so be creative with it. If you never get a full day off, then make one evening of your week your Sabbath. Or if you don't know how to take a full day of preparation, a full day of prep, then run all your errands during your weekly commute. Just get creative with it. Some people are saying like, I can't do this, but then other people are saying this. You're like, dude, I already have 2 days off a week and I chill on both of those days. I've got this covered. If that's true, maybe that's awesome. I would challenge you to be so intentional about the day of prep and the day of rest. And I would give you the extra challenge to put your phone down. Because the goal of Sabbath is not to binge watch Netflix all day and kind of putz around on the internet and then feel more spiritually exhausted after your weekend than before. The goal is to be still and eliminate distractions and be present with God and with people. And so for those of us who feel weary and burdened, busy and tired, the challenge is to schedule your day of preparation and your Sabbath. For those of you who are exhausted by the never-ending demands of life, the texts, the emails, the never-ending to-do lists, Sabbath is your chance to have a guilt-free day every single week where those demands don't dictate your spiritual and emotional health. If you feel disconnected from God, Sabbath is your chance to draw a line in the sand and go, I'm here. Like, I'm totally present. You have my full attention. Some Saturdays, God is still completely silent with me. Other Saturdays, like I just talked about, I'm on a walk and I'm listening to birds and getting all emotional. It's weird. It's awesome, but it's different. If you feel disconnected from your friends and family, same thing. You're drawing a line in the sand. You're going, I'm here. No distractions. You have my full attention. If I'm being honest, there are still some Saturdays where I cannot wait to put my kids to bed. But most Saturdays, I'm cherishing like every single second I get with them. Culture says that real rest is found in escape. Jesus says that real rest is found in being present. And then he gave us the gift of Sabbath. Are you going to unwrap it? God, I thank you for this truth, God. It's one of those rules you gave us that's, we constantly ignore it, we constantly put it off, but at the same time, it's so clearly just designed for our own good. God, the most ancient practice that your people have been doing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years is taking one day every single week to be intentional about resting, to not work and to eliminate distractions and to enjoy you and to enjoy your creation and to enjoy the people that you've given us. God, I pray that we take up that challenge. God, and I thank you for creating it in the first place, this chance to just be still and know that you're God and I'm not, and you're in control and I'm not, and it's better that way. God, for the people in the room who feel weary and burdened and they feel constantly like exhausted and tired, God, I pray that they would take this challenge up, and then I thank you already on the front end for the fact that you're gonna work the miracle of healing through it somehow. God, I pray that we are intentional with it. God, thank you so much for this day of rest that you've given us for thousands of years. I'm asking that we step into it. And I pray this in your son's name, amen. Hey, listen, before we just jet out of here, we're gonna sing one more song. And this song is our chance to not only worship God, but it's also our chance before we just leave the room and leave the doors and go back into the normal like craziness and busyness of our life. It's our chance to remember to just be still, to just take a few minutes to be still. And if we do that, maybe he'll allow rest and peace to wash over us. So I'm gonna ask that you stand and sing this one last song with us.
up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Sing it again. Let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Oh, so let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Oh, so let faith rise up, oh heart, believe it. Let faith rise up in me. Peace be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Lord, peace be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace, yeah, over me. You say peace, and you bring peace, yeah, over me. Well, hey, church, we love you guys so much. Please know that we are praying for a restful and a peaceful week for you. We love you. We're so glad you got to join us this morning. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you back here next time.